Hi, my name's Costas.
And I'm Chris.
Welcome to this week's episode of the weekly magazine. Now, what shall we start with?
We'll start with the anagram from last week.
What was the anagram?
I can't remember. Oh, it was Shorty Ankle Crab.
Which was Harry Blackstone. Now, was it junior or senior?
It was technically senior.
Now, you would have guessed that from that, wouldn't you?
True.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got loads of entrants to this one.
Yes.
Quite a few emails actually for people not wanting others to see their response.
Yeah, it's a heavy hat. Heavy-hatted. Anyway. Oh, wow. I'll pick that one. Come on,
Kevin Bowman.
Kevin Bowman!
You couldn't read my writing,
I
could
couldn't
you?
at all.
Kevin Bowman, contact me and we'll sort something out. Now, this week's once-overs.
This week's once-overs, we have
Dicption.
Dicption.
Someone put on the Magic Calf Geggy, G-E-G-G-Y, I think it was, about having a full performance for Dicption. So we'll do that. And also talk a bit more about Dicption by Chris Cngreave.
Coolly. Pocket, the Pocket Sandsmine Sharpie.
And the Blast from the Past, Royal Command by Nick Langham. So let's get on with this week's show. And we are back. I forgot, of course, the most important thing for this week's show is the word of the week.
The word of the week.
So in here I have got a word.
A mystery word.
And I'm going to give it to Chris.
I've never seen it before.
And he's going to read it.
Let's have a look.
And then throughout the show he's going to try and mention it.
Slip it into conversation. Okay.
I'm curious to see how he's going to do this.
Me too.
Right. Now let's get on with this week's show.
Our first once-over this week is Dicption by Chris Cngreave and MagicTao. Let's have a look at the performance we did earlier and have a talk about it afterwards. Right, I have 3 dice here. I'd like you to give them a few rolls. Make sure they're not loaded, they don't roll the same.
On the table?
Yeah, on the table. There we go. Give them a few rolls, make sure they're not all 6s or all 5s or all snake eyes. Almost all the same that time as well. Okay, there we go. They do roll differently. Now, before you give your final roll, I have to show you that in this pack of cards, I have a prediction. Now, it's not on the face of any of the cards. It's on the back of a very special card that looks different from all the rest. It is, in fact, a red card. There it is. You can see it's got some writing on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to show you what it says just yet. That's going to stay right there. You're going to give them a roll. Now, I'm not going to do any sneaky maths on you. We will add them up at the end. Okay?
Right, okay.
So that's... Give them a few rolls.
Okay.
One more. Yep. Now, this is up to you. Would you like to add all 3 of them up? Would you like to add 2 of them up? Would you like to stick with 1?
All 3.
All 3. So if you wouldn't mind, do me the honors of counting those up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. You've got 10. Are you okay with 10?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Cause a bit of suspense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th card. Could have had the 11th, could have had the 12th, could have had so forth and so forth. But I wrote a prediction on one of these cards.
Yeah.
In fact, I wrote it on the 4 of diamonds. There it is, the 4 of diamonds. The red card. Now, can you read this out loud? It says, you will roll 10, which we did, and the 5 of clubs. So you have a look at the 10th card for me. Turn it over.
Oh my god. Wow.
5 of clubs.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You've just seen a live performance for Dicption by Chris Cngreave. Now, we had a few people asking for a live performance, an unedited performance, so that's what the trick looks like.
Yes.
What Chris performed was the ungimmicked version. Oh, there isn't a gimmicked version, the self-working version.
Yeah.
So everything works as it is. The spectator has got a free choice.
Yes.
They can throw the dice as many times as they like. They can choose either 1, 2 or all 3 dice. And
as you saw,
and when they deal down to that number of cards, is the prediction.
Hey!
And it's always correct.
Self-contained?
It's self-contained. There's nothing for you to memorize or really learn. It is virtually self-working.
Yep. And you get everything in this magical box.
It does explain a few other ways of performing this effect. You would have seen the other performance on the official trailer that Chris Cngreave performed.
Yep.
And you can't really get any more simpler than this.
Correct. It is.
It's
a direct, simple effect.
As you've seen in the performance earlier. There isn't much we can really say about it because it's one of our own releases, apart from it's a great close-up effect.
Yes.
No memory work, self-working. There's no sleight of hand with this, as you've seen in the performance earlier. It was a genuinely free roll of the dice and the free choice of how many dice or which dice they're going to use. And the outcome's always different as well.
Yes, absolutely. And the cool thing is there are some nice variations on the video. There's a really nice way of doing it where you don't have to use dice, and you can get 3 spectators involved. It's great.
Yeah, you can give them an imaginary dice, so they could imagine they're rolling a dice, and they tell you what it rolls, what number it rolls on. So you got a lot of byplay with this if you wanted to, and that's Dicption. Hopefully, you've seen an unedited performance, and you enjoy this. Our next once over is Pocket Sharpie by Sans Minds. Let's watch the official trailer and we come back and discuss it.
A while back, we created a game-changing 3-in-1 Sharpie marker for magicians' everyday use. It allowed you to perform impossible ink moving effects on the fly. Now, we're bringing you something even better. Imagine being able to do all the miracles that the classic Sans Minds Sharpie can, but more pocket-friendly and manageable. We proudly present to you the Pocket Sans Minds Sharpie. Simply slap it on your keychain and it's ready whenever you are. Use it as a permanent marker to have a card signed, dry erase marker for those mentalism applications, or even a moving ink marker for some truly crazy visual effects. The ink is non-toxic and there's no extra chemicals or props to carry around, so you don't have to compromise your precious pocket space. With something so compact, bigger is not always better. It's the ultimate tool disguised as an everyday Sharpie. So what are you waiting for? Once it's in your hands, you'll always be ready to perform. Get it now, worldwide.
So, you have just seen the official trailer for Pocket Sans Minds Sharpie. What to say about this mini Sharpie?
Well, it's their new version of this product, isn't it?
Yes,
the previous one was a normal size Sharpie, and now they brought the pocket size Sharpie, which is actually a good idea because it can fit on your keyrings and stuff, and you can have it with you all the time. The Sharpie is gimmicked in order to be able to accomplish all this stuff.
Correct.
It does work.
It does. It does.
Now, what else can you really say about this? You know, you could draw something and make that piece of something disappear and appear somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the whole idea behind this concept.
Yeah. It's cool, and there's a lot of great ideas on here.
Well, the DVD's only it's over 1 hour long.
Yes, it's 53 odd minutes of good material. It's 6 routines that if you spun a giant roulette wheel, you could pick any of the good routines on here.
Yeah, a giant roulette wheel.
A giant one. Yeah,
a huge one.
A huge one.
It's it's like, how shall I put it? All these gimmick pens like friction pens or pink and something, you know, they do what they intended to do, and it's up to you to find something that suits your style of magic and the routine that you want to use it for.
Yeah.
And it's the same with this.
But the cool thing about this, unlike pink and those sorts of type pens, you can also use this as a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Like if you were going to sign a card, you can use this and then go into any of the routines that you wanted to. So it's great to have it on you, and you can use it as an actual Sharpie as well.
Well, that's actually a valid point. Don't know how much I really want to use it as a normal Sharpie.
I know you don't want to waste the ink in it, really, but
yeah, no, you can do, and it does work.
Yeah,
it does work if you like this kind of stuff.
I think it's a great utility to have, especially the pocket one. You can just pop it on your keys.
Yeah, if you carry keys.
Yeah, if you carry keys. If not, put it on your earring or something.
Yeah, no, it's intended to be more versatile to carry with you.
Yeah,
it's a great idea. It's not something I would use. Simple reason is I just
not the type of magic.
It's not my type of magic, but I really like the thought behind this.
Yeah,
and it does work.
Very useful.
There's thousands of people out there that would think this is fantastic and would get a lot of mileage from this.
Yes.
If you've seen the trailer and you like what you've seen, it's all practical stuff.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
with anything, you need to play around with it, familiarise yourself, learn it, and you'll be able to create miracles. You know,
absolutely.
Find something that you would want to keep on doing, a particular style of routine. And,
absolutely. And you can adapt it. That's the cool thing. You don't have to use their routines or methods. You can once you know how to use it.
Well, I know you want one because it's something else to have on your keys, and you can do something with it.
Absolutely.
You work in the bar as well, so it's sort of
it's
great. And working in a bar, you've got loads of access to a lot of the uses for this thing.
Correct. Like, there's a good routine on here with a coffee cup, a coffee mug, where you take a coin, you make it disappear, and then it hits the inside of the glass, and then you tip it over, and it's invisible. It's cool. Yeah, it's really good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, no, I highly recommend it. It's a really good product. Now, the question for this week was, what is the strangest place you've performed magic? We had more responses to this than any other question.
Yeah.
We had so many responses, I haven't written down half of them.
We have binders and binders full of answers. There were a lot.
You sure it wasn't loads of roulette wheels or something?
We did.
We had a lot of responses, and a lot of them were duplicate responses as well. Which the most interesting one I'll talk about more towards the end.
And strangely common.
More common than I ever imagined. That just reminds me. I didn't put it on here. I just got to remember to mention it when we get down to this. Oh no, yes. When we get down to here, remind me to add something.
Will do.
Which was even more interesting. So let's go through them.
Let's start. Mark Thorold says, in a rebuilt Saxon lodge on top of a mountain near Snowdonia.
That sounds interesting. Mark Lavelle, I had a 2-year residency performing magic, I just clarify, at a strip club in Birmingham.
Enough said. Anthony Bowler says, in the back of a police car. There's a story there.
Yeah, I'm interested to know
was it a handcuff?
Arrested or he just happened to know someone in the police car. Paul Zenon. Now this was interesting, and it just shows a serious worker here. The walkway across the top of Tower Bridge, in the dome on top of the Gherkin, on the back of a truck in a Bosnian war zone, on an aircraft carrier in the Adriatic, stood in the kitchen sink in someone's house, in the middle of Stonehenge on Salt Day.
That's cool.
In a cave in Austria. These were all stage shows. Now, okay. Also in the back of a police van and underwater in Florida, but they were close up. Now that is an accolade to have.
That's incredible.
Some interesting places.
Yeah. Cool. Johnny Fantastica says, in a security office for security cards at Bombay. Is that Mumbai?
Mumbai.
Yeah.
Gary Young, at the opening of Wood Hill Prison in Milton Keynes. This is true, and it was a kids show.
Okay.
The prison was meant to be Cat C, but turned into a Cat A, which Milton Keynes Council said will not happen. So that's interesting. Loads of offenders, I suppose, in Milton Keynes.
Kids show, you know. Okay. Steve Della says, I've done 2 funerals. The 2 funerals I did was hired for by the partners of the deceased, and the second one came from doing the first. It wouldn't surprise me if I get another in the future, although I didn't feel it right handing out business cards like I usually do.
Now that was an interesting one because
this is the start.
This is the start, and I'm gonna talk a bit more about this later. I thought someone doing a funeral was virtually non-existent,
Yes.
but you'll realise how common this really is. We've got a few more answers, and there's a lot more that did funerals that haven't been included in here. Chris White, in the security area at customs in Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. Yes to the guy with the metal detector, and luckily I didn't get a cavity search as a thank you. He thought it was very funny that I wanted him to hold my balls in his hand and squeeze them tightly. Trust you, Chris.
Stephen Hancock says, awake. Seriously.
Yeah, awake. Another one. And Will Jones, awake of my father's funeral.
Tim Stracy says, yes, in a swimming pool.
It's interesting when you have your cards at a swimming pool.
Underwater cards.
Leigh Milne, on the set of a movie, on a crowded bus for all the passengers in Paul Daniels' house. Now that's interesting.
That's cool. Mark Hickton says, on Mont Blanc at 12,800 feet in a mountain hut. A deck of cards is always in my survival kit. Yeah.
Wayne Goodman, I have done so many funerals, I had these made. And he put a picture of his business card specifically for funeral magic.
No, I was wondering about that.
I was thinking of quickly sending him a message asking, can I put that on the show? But we thought we'll leave it out. You never know, it might appear.
Wow.
But yeah, he's got business cards specifically for funerals.
That's incredible. Ravi Mayer says, corporate party on a real double-decker bus.
I guess they don't have double-decker buses in Canada. Do you want to read that?
Sure. Sam of Diamonds, which I think is from YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes. Says, the strangest place I have performed magic was at an art gallery. I know, not that strange. However, I asked if there was somewhere out of the way I could put my case and set up. They thought about it for a bit. Before saying yes, they showed me into a room. As I turned the light switch on, I realized I was standing in a toilet. The woman then said I could set up and put my case on the toilet seat, to which I reluctantly agreed. And there was nowhere else. Throughout the duration of the gig, every time someone needed the toilet, I was notified and I had to move my case. It was a strange gig.
I did laugh when I read this. I thought he was actually joking, but it turns out it's actually true. That's, but yeah. Someone wants to go to the toilet. Check on
Quick! Cards on.
Kieran Lefevre, a toilet got the biggest screams from these lads. It happens more than once as well. So I guess he performs in people's toilets more often than not.
I'm gonna check every toilet I go in now
to see if he's there.
See if there's a magician. You're gonna have to help me on this one, Costas.
Cool. Okay, let's try it.
How does it start? Gyriagos, Zapparelli.
Yeah, Zapparelli.
Apologies. A submarine, that's just cool in itself, and a hot air balloon as we were going over the equator.
That wouldn't be, it would be cool. Loads of
that would be cool. Wow.
Mark Waddington, I spent a week stood outside various Asda supermarkets next to a catering van to promote Vegeta kits. That was a relatively strange place to perform. I also perform every December for a few days on a farm. Chickens are quite hard to classic force on. Right, okay.
Now I want a fajita. Anyway, Matthew Ramsell says a courtroom or fire engine. How would you... While it was on patrol?
I don't know. It's yeah, that's a good one. In the courtroom, what did the judge suddenly stop the proceedings and say, "Can I see a trick?" I don't know.
Cool.
Good one. Fate Presto. Now, Red Paul Zenons, and we thought, wow,
fantastic.
some lucky guy, you know, performing at all these interesting places. Then Fate Presto sends a reply.
Fantastic stuff.
Now, this is what Fate Presto put. She put Cabinet War Rooms. Number 10, Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, Highgrove, St James Palace, 30 metres under the Red Sea, intensive care ward, stored right in Disney World. And she actually put a picture of her performing in the sea with
That's so cool.
snorkel and
That's so cool.
all sorts. So that's pretty impressive.
I'd like to know the story behind the stall ride at Disney World. That sounds like fun.
Hopefully it wasn't a dangerous one.
No, absolutely not.
Now, we were talking about, last Wednesday we were at the Leamington Day of Magic. And we were talking about this week's question and answer. And someone mentioned, I know someone that did a gig at a funeral.
Right.
So I thought, that's really strange that is.
Not knowing how common it would be in an artist.
And we realised that it's actually more common than you think.
Absolutely.
And Wayne Goodman even had business cards created specifically for funeral magic. How cool is that? Now, at the Leamington Day of Magic, where someone was talking about a friend of his doing a gig at a funeral, I mentioned I've got a book on funeral magic. And everyone thought I was joking. I just, you know, yeah, okay, Costas got all these books. Yeah, he's saying he's also got a book on funeral magic. So today, I forgot that book. And Chris didn't even believe I had this book.
Correct.
So I went home and I found that said book.
He did, and he found
And that book is called Funeral Magic by the Mortician Magician. I seriously... blah 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 not this exists. And I remember buying this directly from the company that released this in 2002 in America, and you cannot get hold of this anywhere. Come on, you wouldn't even think that this
Doesn't surprise me.
You know, even reading the back, I just noticed it says, "Don't be caught dead without a copy." So don't be caught dead without a copy.
There are some horrible, horrible puns in this book.
Now, I did some research earlier, and it turns out the person that wrote this book, that calls himself the Mortician Magician, is actually a funeral director. He owns a funeral director's business. And it's got some interesting things like...
But I go to the first, there's this one on the first chapter.
Browse the obituaries and see if you can get some gigs. This will give a new meaning to the term cold calling.
And don't forget, you can't spell funeral without fun.
There's the other one. This cracked me out. Where was it? Now this gives you a direction on how to get gigs at funerals.
He's not kidding, it does.
Even to the extent of wearing a disguise and gate crashing other people's funerals and performing magic, hoping that someone will see you that would eventually have a funeral at that funeral parlour, and they would request a magician. And the funeral parlour would have your business cards because you bombard the place with business cards. Oh. And they say, "I know someone that does funeral magic."
Oh,
Where is
I can't do it.
I've got to find this.
When he brought it in, I cracked up. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he actually had this book.
Right, other possibilities with standard effects. Right, using the rice bowls, the grave that refused to be dug. Lotter bowl or milk pitcher, the corpse that refused to be embalmed. I'm going to get in trouble by reading some of this. I just got to find one more. Where is it? Where is it? There's a lot. I'll tell you what, when I first read this, I couldn't stop laughing, thinking that you can walk up not knowingly and claim, you know, I once showed the deceased a magic trick which he absolutely loved. Would you like to see it? Now, if you find a copy of the Funeral Magic by Autism Magician, this is a fantastic book. I'm not criticising it. I think it's genius. Now, after reading it all those years ago, I thought this was written as a joke. Now, it turns out loads of people have done funeral magic.
Absolutely.
The stuff in here, now looking at it and thinking about it, is workable and practical, and the methods are genius. And Wade Goodman proves a point. He created business cards. So, you know, our question of the week has turned into quite a bit of research and a lot of fun. Until next time, catch you later.
This week's Blast from the Past is Alakazam Magic Royal Command by Nick Langham. Let's have a look at a performance we did earlier and talk about it afterwards. Rachel, there are 52 cards in a pack of cards.
Yes.
We've got clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds, right? And we have the picture cards, the jack, queens, and kings.
Yeah.
Now, this is totally up to you. I'd like you to pick any jack, queen, or king, and any suit.
Okay.
And just name it out loud. Anyone you like.
King of Hearts.
The King of Hearts.
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay, because in this pack of cards, we have... Watch. You sure the King of Hearts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch. There he is, his little eyes. A bit more.
Oh my god.
And then we have the King of Hearts.
Brilliant.
You've just seen live performance or Royal Command by Nick Langham. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us. He was a fantastic creator and a rising card fanatic.
Yeah.
I remember him showing this to me at Blackpool quite a few years ago when Alakazam brought the rights to it and released it. And in his hands, it was a complete miracle.
Yeah.
And you saw a live performance. And the spectator can choose any court card.
Absolutely, anyone.
There's no force,
Nope.
and that card rises from the pack.
Yes, absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
you can't get a rising card effect that is so clean.
Right.
With such a free choice.
And they don't even pick it. They mentally pick one. Just without taking it out of the pack, say a card. Say a court card. It's cool. Fantastic.
Queen of Diamonds.
Queen of... Ooh.
And it rises.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. It's a blast from the past because I remember really loving this effect. I played around with it a lot when it first came out. I like the concept and how clean it is. And again, you've got a few on the shelf and you forget all about it because it's been out for a few years. You know, you talk about all the new stuff, you work on the new stuff, you know, you talk to customers about all the stuff that's recently come in, and you forget that right on the shelf there, on the Alakazam section, there is Royal Command. And you haven't seen it before.
No, I never saw it before. I looked at the little gargoyle.
And it's surprising how many people have looked at that shelf and not once asked, what is Royal Command?
Yeah.
And, you know, this is Royal Command. You saw the performance. It's as clean no matter what card the spectator chooses. Of course, it has to be a court card.
Yeah, but I mean, that's...
But you've got 12 cards to choose from, and that card rises.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is, like, you can put it in you know, patter about the high court cards or whatever, and, you know...
And the beauty about it, the gimmick itself can be placed in any pack of playing cards that uses standard faces.
Yep.
So you're not limited to a red or a blue pack. You can use it in any kind of custom deck as long as the court faces are standard.
Yes.
And pretty much 90% of the decks out there, I guess.
Absolutely.
So you got a complete miracle in your hands. If you like these kind of tricks, rising card effects, you can't use the deck for anything else because it is gimmicked in a certain way.
True, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can't take the gimmicks out and
oh yeah,
do something with it.
You can do.
Yeah.
But if you like rising card effects, you can justify having a deck specifically for this effect.
Absolutely.
Especially when it's a free choice.
Yes.
And it is a free choice. You know, it's. I initially thought that when it was performed to me that he had some really clever equivoque that completely fooled me in order to choose, you know, maybe 1 out of 2 or 3 different outcomes. But no, it's any court card. Fantastic job. Great late Nick Langham and Alakazam Magic. Fantastic. And go and buy it from your favourite dealer. And we do have some of these in stock. What have we been doing?
What have we been doing? We've been very busy. That's what we've been doing.
More filming. More trailer filming, shall I say? More filming. Crazy filming. I've worn you out.
Yes.
At the end of this show, you'll also see our latest trailer we had in last week's show, which is Switch Up by Danny Weiser.
Hey.
It's interesting to see some of the responses regarding this effect.
Yeah, some interesting stuff going on.
It looks unnatural the way you hold the card box and stuff.
Yeah, all that jazz.
But you see the reactions from the spectator.
It's true.
And that becomes irrelevant.
Absolutely irrelevant.
And it's surprising that you getting quite a few comments saying it's similar to this, that and the other, and they're all wrong because the gimmicks are nothing like.
Well, there you go.
To me the gimmick looks obvious, but it shows how visual it actually is. And the lay people love it.
They do, they really do.
And it should be out within a couple of weeks. We started to make the gimmicks.
We have. All of them.
Packaging is going to be ready over the next few days.
Ooh, I can't wait to see it.
For us to pick them up, and it's all fun and joys. Still working on the website, encountering some problems, so we're just working on those. But yeah, until next week.
But busy, good stuff.
That's it. Have fun. Bye.
Straight from the mind of our friend Danny Weiser comes an extremely visual close-up illusion. Customize your gimmick to whatever you want. From predictions to card changes. Card to card, make a card appear. Change some words. The possibilities are endless. Let your imagination run wild.
Was it by any chance a black card? Was it the King of Spades? Seriously, wasn't the King of Spades? Is it the Four of Hearts?
I know it. He just flipped your oh my god! Wow!
No, actually no, it's actually yeah. That's mad. It's so cool.
Thank you.
That's really cool. Like, oh my god. How? I don't get it. I do not get it. It's really freaky.